What up, YouTube fam? It is time for the UFC 303 Best Bets show. First of all, if you're a returning viewer, this is a different look. I usually am in my office and I got a perfect slideshow for you. It looks great. Can't do that. Okay, I'm currently out of town and brought my laptop, brought my webcam. Get here, laptop's broken. So we're going to have to make do with this. That's why I'm in this car. I'm filming on my iPhone. But I'm still here to give you the best bets. I'm going to give you a money line, a round prop, a parlay, and then a prop bet. And then as well, if you're a returning viewer, you probably know one of the best segments of the show is the DFS apps, Underdog Fantasy and Better Picks. We've been absolutely crushing those. I won't be able to show them on the screen, but my free Telegram will be linked down in the description, and that is where you can see all those once they are finalized. I already posted some throughout the week, so if you're already in the Telegram, props to you, but make sure you join the Telegram down in the description. It's free, and that's where you get every single one of my DFS plays, which we've been hitting at about 80% in the month of June. So let's cap it off with a big week. Let's get into it, okay? Can't really go through the slides, so I got my little iPad right behind me, and I got everything on here. Started off with a money line. I'm going to go with Diego Lopez money line. Sitting at minus 130, I got 1.3 units on it. And the reason I'm taking this is because it's a 3-round fight, which I think works well for Diego because, one, he's a fast starter, and Brian Ortega is a slow starter. So right off the bat, I think Diego Lopez banks round 1. And then as the fight continues to progress, I don't see Brian Ortega having a lot of advantages. You know, it does worry me, the lack of high-level experience, I guess, for Diego. But in this spot, with the short notice, I think Brian Ortega is just going to come out a little bit slow. He's going to get beat up early. And with it being 3 rounds, I don't really see Brian Ortega be able to overcome that and win the fight later. I think Diego's tough. He's durable. And on the ground, he's just going to make Brian Ortega work the entire fight. So I like Diego. I think he can find an early finish as well. It might be, the square side, but squares win. And I feel like this is a solid matchup for Diego and definitely a guy that the UFC would want to market moving forward. So Diego Lopez on the money line, minus 130. I'm only putting 1.3 units on it to win one back. And this fight just got moved to 155 too, which is kind of weird. I think that tells me, Ortega said he was going to move to 155 in his next fight. So maybe it was a little bit bigger, and maybe he goes in there a little bit bigger. Who knows? But Diego is the bigger guy at 145, so I think he'll be fine at 155, and I think he gets this one done. So normally we'd move into the Underdog Fantasy, but as I said, we're going to have to just throw those in the Telegram because I can't edit this video. It's going to be real candid. I apologize. But let's move in to a round prop. And we're going to go with the first fight of the night. We're going with the under 2.5 rounds in the Oliveira versus Simon fight. Ricky Simone. I see Simon on my screen. It's Simone. Oliveira versus Simone under 2.5. Minus 120. And I'm putting 2.4 units on it. Why? Because Vinicius Oliveira is a killer be killed type of guy. I think in this fight, he knows he needs to stay off his back, and he's going to try to knock out Ricky Simone real early. He usually goes in there, regardless of his opponent, trying to knock him out pretty early, and he'll get into these big swinging dick exchanges where he's just standing in front of you, and he's trying to knock you out, and he might get knocked out himself. He's been knocked out 3 times before, so I don't necessarily think his chin, is some Drew Dober chin. You think he could get knocked out as well, because Ricky Simone is not a terrible striker, but he does hold some pop, so he could definitely club Vinicius Oliveira, and I think Oliveira could knock out Ricky Simone. And then another aspect that I like is if Ricky Simone is getting the takedowns, he could submit Vinicius on the ground. He's got some really solid bully chokes as far as getting him on his back with an arm triangle, just finding something on the ground. So if he is having success with the takedowns, I think he can find a submission. I don't necessarily think Oliveira is going to be willing to just ride out a decision loss. He's a killer be killed type of guy. So either way, I think this fight goes under 2.5 at -120. It makes a lot of sense to me. From there, I will ask you to join the Homo Fight Picks Discord. Okay, we're running a promotion for UFC 303. We'll get 50% off the monthly subscription. The link will be down in the description for that. That's where you get every single one of my bets on every single UFC card. So right now I'm looking at it. I got about 20 bets. I got a lot of underdogs and a lot of plus money. It seems like that's been the way for the past 3 or 4 UFC cards. Just because there's just a lot of value on these dogs. And so we get so many big favorites every week. And you just can't bet them. You just can't. You're sitting at -400, -450. We have a -2,000 on this card. You just can't bet it. So you have to find ways to find value and ultimately place those bets. So I got about 20 bets on this card. And in addition to that, pay-per-view cards throughout the year have been unbelievable. Like, by far, the most profitable. So we got a pay-per-view this Saturday. I think just on pay-per-views alone, in the month of 2024, we're up like 25 units. And only one of them, we weren't profitable. So that's what, 7 pay-per-view cards, 6 or 7 pay-per-view cards. And we've been profitable every single one except for one. So let's keep that rolling. Join the Homo Fight Picks Discord, the premium membership there. You'll get 50% off if you sign up. I think the code is 303. But follow me on Instagram. You'll get all the updates there. That's where you get every single one of my bets. Move on. Well, let's go with a parlay. And I don't really think this card is very good for parlays. So this is my only parlay, and kind of similar to the one we had last week that cashed. We're just taking 2 overs. 2 guys, or 2 fights that I think have all the upside to hit the scorecards. But we are taking an over 1.5, and that's in the over, or the Ray Cerrulla versus Carlos Hernandez fight. Why? Because I think Cerrulla is getting a jump up in competition here. I don't think that he's going to be able to just roll through Carlos Hernandez. You know, Hernandez has faced some really solid guys. Tatsuro Taira, Alan Nascimento is a beast, really physical on the ground. He did get subbed by Nascimento, and he got knocked out by Tatsuro Taira. But I don't rate Ray Cerrulla to be that caliber. And I think Hernandez can survive if he does get taken down. He can fight off the submission attempts. If he's getting ground and pounded, I think he can do enough to squirm away, get back up to his feet. And Hernandez doesn't have much finishing upside. Like, he's not a big knockout puncher, doesn't have the greatest submissions. So I think Cerrulla could probably get his wrestling game going, but just doesn't find a finish. So we're taking the over 1.5 rounds in that fight, and we're going to pair that up with the over 2.5 rounds in the Ian Gary and Michael Venom Page fight. Because, one, I think both guys are very smart, and I don't see either guy taking a lot of risk in this fight. I know Page loves to push and pull and really explode with a big right hand or a spinning back elbow or whatever. I don't know that Ian Gary is really going to be super aggressive to where MVP could catch him. I think he's going to play it smart. He always says he's going to go out there and dog walk him or get in some type of backyard brawl. He never does that. Okay, he never does that. Ian Gary's a very smart fighter, a very technical fighter. I think he's going to try to chew up the leg and then just pick his shots. Like, throw a jab out there, maybe throw him up against the cage here and there, maybe try to take him down. But I don't see either guy getting a finish because they're both really high level and they're both very smart. So I think this fight probably hits the scorecard. So we're taking the over 2.5 in that one, paired with the over 1.5 in the Ray Cerrulla Carlos Hernandez fight. That parlay is sitting at plus 116 odds. We're putting 1 unit on that. So we just need betting overs in UFC is like betting unders in like the NFL. You just don't want anything big to happen. And I don't think anything big is really going to happen in those fights. So I like those. From there, we'd go through the better picks, but the better picks can't show them on the screen. Once again, join the free Telegram. Let me tell you, I got three plays, 3 two-leggers on better picks. I think I got 4 on underdog. And that's without the 5-leg on underdog and the 8-leg on better. So we got a lot locked in on DFS this week, and they're running promotions. They're running the Alex Pereira 0.5 significant strike promotion on both apps. So that's basically a free square. So if you're not signed up there yet, make sure you hit one of the links down in my description. Sign up there, use my code. You'll get a deposit bonus and the free promo for Alex Pereira at 0.5 significant strikes. Just needs to land one and you win. Lastly, we'll cap it off with a prop bet. And we're taking Mayra Bueno Silva by submission plus 350, and we're putting a half unit on it. Now, Mayra Bueno Silva is a finisher, and I think she's going to put a lot of pressure on Macy Chiasson, and Chiasson has used her wrestling game to win a lot of her fights. And in this one, I think that would be a very bad decision because if you go on the ground with Mayra Bueno Silva, more often than not, she's going to find a submission. She's got the ninja choke, she's got the arm bar, she's got the knee bar, and I do think throughout the fight, Chiasson wilts. When the going gets tough, I think she wilts. And I think Mayra Bueno Silva can pressure her on the feet. I think she throws a lot harder than Chiasson. And I think Chiasson will eventually try to get a takedown. And I think that's going to work out very poorly for her because Bueno Silva has some of the best jiu-jitsu in women's MMA. Those at least the most dangerous jiu-jitsu in women's MMA because she hunts everything. So at plus 350, I think Mayra Bueno Silva, there's a ton of value on that line in my opinion because I think Mayra Bueno Silva has a good chance to win the fight. And what's more often than not her win condition, it's by submission. And Macy Chiasson has been subbed before by Raquel Pennington. She just stuck her head right down into a guillotine bulldog choke. You know, like, I don't think her fight IQ is that good. And Mayra Bueno Silva should be able to capitalize. So plus 350, Mayra Bueno Silva submission, sitting at, we're putting half a unit on that. So those are the best bets. Once again, normally I'd plug the Telegram. It's free. Links down in the description. We'll throw the IG Live parlays in there as well and the full DFS lineup. Guys, if you have the ability to be on these DFS apps, you need to get on them because number one, you get your deposit bonus. Number two, you're getting free promos. And number three, there's such an edge. There's a massive edge. And I say this to some people that don't really understand. When you're betting, I can't really say you're betting. When you're putting these plays in, let's just say you had Nicholas Dalby last week to go over his significant strike total, and he goes over it, but he doesn't win the fight, right? He doesn't get the decision. You still win your bet because you don't need the fighter to actually win. You just need him to hit a certain mark. So with all these decisions, you don't know what the judges are seeing. You can't really tell what the judges are gonna reward, I guess, when they're giving their scores. It doesn't matter because if this guy lands 60 significant strikes and his number's set at 45, you're already done. You won. So that's it, boys. Sorry again for the quality of this show, but we got to make do with it. I want to get these best bets out to you. So appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and good luck to y'all on your bets. Peace.